Hello, I'm Dr. Martin Linder, and I have some thoughts about the current political climate I'd like to share with you. First, let's take a quick 100-year historical survey of all the wonderful things conservatives have done, or have tried to do, for us. We could start back in, say, 1906, when, with every means, conservatives fought the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act, which now ensures that, for example, when you open a bottle of aspirin, aspirin is what you get, and all you get. It also guarantees that your ballpark hot dog won't kill you, at least not right away. Throughout the first decade of the 20th century, conservatives consistently tried to stymie enactment of child labor laws. They tried to stop the creation and the funding of the National Park and the National Park Services. Had things gone their way, 10-year-olds would still be working 12-hour days, and there would be no Yosemite, no Yellowstone, no Grand Canyon. In 1919, conservatives pushed through the 18th Amendment, giving us prohibition, bootlegging, and organized crime. And today, having learned nothing from Al Capone, they continue to press the hideously expensive, bloody, and futile war on drugs instead of pushing for their legalization. In 1935, conservatives labored to block the creation of Social Security, upon which 40% of older Americans now entirely depend for their basic needs. And they're still trying to privatize it, as if Wall Street hasn't done enough to our retirement plans. In the early 1940s, conservatives opposed giving aid to Great Britain in its lonely struggle against Hitler, until December 7, 1941, when the Japanese Imperial Navy took the matter out of their hands. In 1945, they opposed as extravagant the GI Bill. The GI Bill, which sent tens of thousands of returning World War II veterans to college and in one fell swoop tripled the size of the American middle class. In the 1960s, they battled to defeat the Civil Rights Act, which finally gave black Americans the vote ostensibly won 100 years earlier. And in the 1970s, conservatives opposed the creation of the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, the work of which is why, for example, Southern Californians can now safely inhale when they step outside their homes. Conservatives fought tobacco warnings and smoking restrictions, arguing that, quote, the connection between cigarettes and cancer remains a subject for debate, the same position they today take on global warming. All right, admittedly this is all ancient history. What have conservatives done for us lately? At every opportunity, conservatives stripped away the financial regulations which could have gone far to ameliorate and perhaps prevent the current economic debacle, the leveling of our housing market, and the near annihilation of our middle class. Conservatives still refuse to accept that though capitalism is the greatest machine for creating wealth ever devised, absent government regulation and oversight, it's akin to taking a ride in a powerful automobile that lacks both steering and brakes. Conservatives, heedless of how, through history, faith-based violence has repeatedly brought the slaughter of entire peoples, see Iraq, Bosnia, Kosovo, Northern Ireland, Hamas, Rwanda, Armenia, the Taliban, the Spanish Inquisition, the Great Christian Crusades. Religion has always been the root of violence throughout history. Nevertheless, what do conservatives do? They are always pushing for the dissolution of America's separation of church and state. They're always pushing for more religion in government and in public life, and allowing their religious convictions to subordinate common sense. Conservatives insist that, to cite just two examples, for the two gay women living down the block from my home to succeed in their fondest wish to tie the knot, heterosexual marriages would somehow be destroyed? Or should an openly gay, decorated soldier be allowed to continue to serve, as he might in most European armies, and somehow American troop morale and national security would be imperiled? Conservatives exploited the 9/11 atrocity and fictitious weapons of mass destruction in order to thrust several 100,000 young Americans into the midst of millions of furious, endemically aggrieved Muslims who have been at each other's throats for a millennium and will doubtless continue as such long after the last GI is killed or maimed. Conservatives also opposed the tax increases necessary to finance these Middle Eastern misadventures, thus creating an unprecedented deficit our children, and most probably our grandchildren, will have to pay off, if they can find the money. How about here at home? Pleased with your automobile's impressive gas mileage? Don't thank conservatives. Conservatives fought every legislative effort to mandate that American car manufacturers match the fuel economies of their Asian car competitors. Ditto their fierce opposition to mandatory seatbelts and airbags, which collectively have cut highway fatalities by a third. All right, you say, whatever their possible wrongheadedness on social issues, at least conservatives can be counted on to try to shrink the size of government and reduce federal spending. Isn't that what the Tea Party is all about? Sorry, no such luck. In its 2 terms in Washington, the Bush administration, the most conservative in a generation, increased the size of the federal government by 50%. They cut through the Clinton surplus faster than you can say fiscal responsibility and left Obama a $1 trillion deficit. You see, conservative politicians, much like their liberal colleagues, really like expensive stuff. They just don't like paying for it. But it gets worse. 32% of Medicare costs are incurred the last 4 months of life, largely due to the underwriting of obscenely expensive heroic measures that add at most a few weeks of painful life. Yet, conservatives stripped from the Obama Health Reform Act the providing of a tiny sum to pay for end-of-life counseling between the patient, the patient's family, and their doctor, where they might explore more rational options such as hospice care or end-of-life home nursing. And of course, it is conservatives who form the bulk of those daffy folks who insist that Barack Obama is a non-Christian, born in Africa, and who venerate such prospective national leaders as my personal favorite, Sarah Palin, who recently assured Fox News viewers that Africa was not a continent, but a country. It seems clear that conservatives, by consistently choosing dogma over data and ideology over reasonable analysis, are forever on the wrong side of history. Dr. Martin Blinder, thank you for watching.